To be a king is to rule over things and have responsibilities, but then you become a slave to those responsibilities. A slave is just someone who isn't able to walk away. You can't walk away from your business or your habits or a girl or whatever it is. But the moment you can no longer walk away, that's blood in the water, bro. If you feel like you're at a point in your life where you're on the Titanic and it's sinking, just remember that your life is not the Titanic, it's the Titanic movie. And the Titanic movie is being told from the omniscient perspective of someone who already survived and lived through it and is in such a spiritual abundance that she's able to dump her bags and cast the heart of the sea into the ocean and take profit on this massive uptrend that she was able to stay in by suffering through that cycle of pain and reliving the trauma of the Titanic over and over and over again in her mind. And so don't be that guy who gets squished by a smokestack. Don't be the captain going down with the ship. It's up to you to choose which character you are in the sinking of the Titanic. And the story's not over when the ship sinks. What you need is a flashlight in the dark. And that's my MC VWAP strategy. I will never tell you that I know what's going on the other side of the mountain in front of us. But what I can give you is a little flashlight where you can see 15 feet in front of you and you can dodge the bushes and hunt the animals and eat and feed your family. And that is the struggle of humanity and life. And that's what I promise you in the trading world if you buy Market Cipher.
If you, a strong man, aren't taking risks, imagine how scared everyone else is. Can we really blame everyone for being scared? Maybe they're not scared. Maybe they are literally just injured or struggling. They're just having a hard time. It's hard. These are tough times. People need time to grow back and recover. And not everyone's fortunate enough, like me, to be able to bounce back in only 1 year. We have to consider the fact that what happened to us is going to affect us for the next decade. But voices like me and Jason Casper and CF and all of us in the MC community, we got to rise up and we got to help as many people as we can.
Yo, what's up everybody? Thanks for popping in. I hope you guys enjoyed that little motivational video. Man, I was just going through like my phone and listening to like just old snippets of videos I was posting for you guys on like Instagram and just that whole part of my life. I was like super giga motivated, seeing visions, talking to Jesus Christ on my hands and knees. And man, that's the energy I had when I made this channel. So taking that energy into the future, you know, spreading that to you guys. And I love you guys. So getting into the charts today, but we do have a giveaway. I promised you guys a giveaway for that Kanye meme contest. We do have my brother in the call. Say what's up, brethren.
What's up, brethren?
Yo. So we got Crypto Guy OTI once again. I feel like I really like our chemistry and like what we've been able to accomplish the last couple weeks. So we're going to keep it going. But let's do this giveaway real quick. So on Twitter, I tweeted earlier in the week. It was right after that Kanye coin dropped. So I put 1K into that coin after it pulled back to its lifetime VWAP. And then it dipped even more. And I put another $1,000 in. But it just kept going down and down. And like the evidence, these videos came out of people like laughing at me for being exit liquidity and shit. And like crypto Twitter just made me feel like shit. So and the price was just going down. So once I was down like $900, I just pulled the plug and said, screw this shit. So that was my Kanye Yeezy coin experience, which a lot of you guys in the VIP, you guys were like thumbs downing me and shit, and it was just bad, man. So I'm sorry. I'm freaking sorry that I had hope in that shit. It seemed like the last big cooker of the year for me, but I was like just horribly wrong. So that's what I get for making trades outside my strategy and just YOLOing shit. But I went ahead and I wanted to make some good out of that bad thing that happened. So I just said the top 3 memes get my shit for life. So not too many people posted, but there was a couple good ones here. A couple good photoshops. We have AI now, so it's easier than ever to make some funny ass memes. And it's crazy how fast crypto news goes, because like this is already old news. Like it's crazy that this shit just happened. And this is already like stale content that I'm providing you guys here. But so when it comes to the first winner, I'm going to just pick one, and I'm going to let you guys in the comments who are like new to this challenge, I'm going to let you guys go to my Twitter at FloppingGroper, and I'll post a link to this meme in the YouTube chat so you guys can have a chance to win my VIP as well. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this link, post it in the live chat. And if you guys want to make a Kanye West Yeezy coin rug pull meme and have a chance to win at the end of the stream, there's going to be 2 winners that I'll pick at the end of the stream. But there was one meme lord I had to shout out. He's in the chat right now. It's our boy Curtis Neal, the resident meme lord. I believe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one right here. 5 minutes into creating an ecosystem designed to serve the future of global payments. I don't want to play with you anymore. And it's the Toy Story meme. And you guys know how much I love Toy Story. I was doing Toy Story memes like over and over earlier in the year. So Curtis, man, you're the man. You're like the GOAT at making these memes. So I'm glad it's you, bro. So you know how to find me, man. Yes, Curtis cooked. Curtis went and cooked on everybody here. This was like the only meme that really had me rolling on the floor laughing out loud. And it's stale content already, but shout out to Curtis. So you are the winner, and then the other 2 winners, the second winner might have already posted. It depends on if the memes you guys post during the stream are ass or not. But these are some other good ones here too. So yeah, it was nice to at least get a nice little laugh after getting completely rinsed. So when it comes to Bitcoin, last week we were like overall bearish. I told you guys there was like a bullish weekly leap, and that we would find a little bottom like coming out of the weekend and then potentially make a run toward the previous weekly VWAP. But when the data came in, the only trade I took all last week was like this guy right here. I basically took a stupid little 2-to-1. It's hard to even draw it on this time frame, but it was like something like this. I wasn't being greedy at all. I took a 2-to-1 trade in the VIP, and I got out because look at the overall bearish down sloping 5-day MA we were in. So even though we had that bullish weekly leap last week, my market wisdom was telling me not to be greedy. So at 2-to-1, I closed a majority of the trade, had some other shitcoin trades get stopped out. So overall, it was just like a nothing burger week for me last week. And I kind of just watched the price, because if this trade doesn't play out, well, shit, what is the bottom? And the bottom ended up being this macro low right over here. Back here. Here, let me do a horizontal line on this. This was the low that got tagged. And what's insane about this long right here is this is a C setup. So I teach you guys the leapfrog setups here. If I put an anchored VWAP on last week, because it's gone, that weekly VWAP is gone. So let me go to Monday of the 11th. Put an anchored VWAP on that. Boom, it's that yellow line there. And so I didn't take this trade. I was like doing nothing, like screwing off all day. I come to my computer and this move had happened, and I had a guy in the VIP who was like, I took the long, I passed a breakout challenge in 30 minutes. That shit was crazy. And we were all congratulating him. And I looked at the chart and I was like, dang, dude, it tagged this low. It's a textbook C setup. We tag the relevant low, and then we immediately go back to last week's VWAP, right? So this was a weird move, guys, because it happened on a Friday. Usually the big return back to last week's VWAP, it can happen at any time from Monday, through Friday. So I was expecting it to happen a little sooner. I was expecting this to be the move, but thankfully I took my 2-to-1 profits here and kind of just watched all this shit unfold. So that was the bullish weekly leap last week. Kind of an interesting turn of events there, dumping all the way down, tagging that low. And I don't think any of us would have expected this low to get tagged last week. Like we were expecting, a 786 retracement or something like that. But that just goes to show that when a new week opens up and let's say you're trying to long back to last week's VWAP, you have to look at the chart and you have to ask yourself, what are the best entries that I could possibly take for that long? And if you're looking at the structure on the chart, it was this low here. So I'll have to admit that last week I was a little bit greedy, thinking that this was like a bottom enough to get back up to that weekly VWAP. I maybe shouldn't have taken that trade because it was a long in a downtrend. I should have been greedy in the right way and waited for like that prime entry there and been ready for it. So that's my self-reflections from last week's play, and also why this move happened, because you SFP that low and it just goes back to where all the volume is. So on Twitter, before we get Crypto Guy in here, I know you're waiting patiently, man, but I got to go over a post that I recently made. It was a warning post. I know you guys like these TA posts, but I posted this tweet kind of warning you guys because I saw that big pump and a lot of people were wanting to long and thinking that that was the start of something really nice. But look at the black line there, guys. It's a declining 5-day MA, and all we're doing is we're hitting our head on the quarterly and monthly VWAP resistance there. So I put out a little tweet, just saying that this might be bearish. And if you're waiting for like a safer environment to long, you might want to wait for that black line to pull up a bit and for this VWAP region to be reclaimed. And I'm glad I put out that warning because look what happened. We got that big death wick and continuation of downtrend. Now, that's pretty much where we're at now. So when we look at the chart, I would not be surprised if we were getting pumpage off that. I mean, we got that pumpage here, and now we have a bullish weekly leap. So check this out. It's not a big gap, but we have a little bit of a gap up to that previous week to date now that the new weekly candle is in. And so I would expect this to fill, and it might even fill like a larger CME gap, but I didn't even look at the CME gap. That's where my friend / brother Crypto Guy OTI is going to come in here and talk about Bitcoin CME gap. Is there any like relevant news going on Bitcoin, and overall just where you think things are going, brethren. So stream your screen if you want to, and we'll get into the charts here for our lovely guests.
See if I can share it.
Lovely
guest.
Yeah, shout out to you guys in the chats, by the way. MJ, Hunter X Hunter, Curtis, Sala, Dragonhawk, Trader Geo, Jelly Bean, all you guys, love you guys. And let's get into what my bro has to say.
Can you okay, cool. I'm such a boomer when it comes to sharing screens.
No, you got it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the weekly leap for Bitcoin is modest, back to like 114.3 or so, but the CME gap that printed is substantial. So we're looking at 117. And in terms of the news, it's not like last week where we're looking for a retest upwards on Monday or Tuesday like usual, but there was this Jerome Powell shadow hanging over everybody, so no one made any moves until he talked and gave us a glimmer of hope, and then we all ran up to the weekly VWAP on Thursday, Friday. So this week we don't have that problem. It should be more business as usual. The only news things of note right now are Nvidia earnings. What is that, Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday. And then on Thursday, sorry, this is bright white, but Thursday we have GDP growth rate quarter over quarter. Should be around 3%. That'd be great. If it's a little below that, you're still fine. Like maybe Jerome gets a few more yelly phone calls his way. If it's above that, terrific. The economy's doing better than we thought. So it's kind of a non-factor week in terms of Fed news. I think our TA will have a better impact compared to last week. But I'm more interested in a couple of the alts because they're starting to diverge from what Bitcoin's doing. And I think that's because Bitcoin dominance is starting to dump out a little bit. But I mean, I can go on about that if you want.
Let's go into that. Go back to the CME chart real quick though. And I mean, man, when I look at this chart, look at that declining DBSI, the 200 EMA right there. So we're in quite the downtrend here, guys. Are you really surprised that we had this big crash pumping up into a declining a red DBSI like that? Always be cautious of those rogue pumps that come out of nowhere in downtrends, because usually it's just the price coming up to a big volume blob and stopping a bunch of people out, picking up a bunch of new trades, and then continuing. But since go back to it real quick, I think that this CME gap, you know, I just saw Trader Geo in the chat say that it's going to be a partial fill and they're going to leave people behind. I definitely think that that's a possibility, because this big dump and the dumpage in general that we've been seeing is in line with my bearish quarterly leap idea, which is the idea that since we're now in Q3, we should probably go back down to where all the volume is from the Q2 VWAP down at like 105 or like 100K or wherever. I can't remember where exactly it's at. But all I'm saying is everything that we have seen in the last 2 weeks supports Bitcoin going down there so far. So if that happens, Geo, that's totally in line with like my macro shit. Even though what we have right now is a bullish weekly leap up to last week's VWAP, and then also this bullish CME gap. So there is potentially, in fact, there is a long trade here. It's just a matter of how far it can go. The consequent encroachment of this gap, which is the midpoint of that gap around 115K, that's probably a good profit-taking region to close out or partially close out long, since we are in this big 1 hour DBSI downtrend. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. And with that, let's get into that BTC dominance. What are you seeing, brethren?
Switch to regular here. Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out on this BTC dominance, it's been all Bitcoin dominance until just recently, and some people are pointing towards like a big break. They're going, look at this trend line going back to the beginning, and we've snapped it, and it's going to go all the way down, and it's altcoin season. Okay, maybe. But what I am seeing is a diversion between how Bitcoin behaves and how some top alts are behaving. So what I was seeing was Bitcoin's been kind of languishing, but coins like Solana are going up. So like its weekly retrace is to the downside. Right now it'd be like 192 or so. Mm-hmm. But Bitcoin's is to the upside a little bit. And so you're getting conflicting signals. And then USDT's dominance, that, I mean, we're practically right there. It's not much of a gap. Let's see if we can get it there. Okay, that would go up to 434, 435, which would make all your coins go down. So I'm not really getting a clear picture on how all of it's going to behave. It's kind of things are doing their own thing for a minute. But I wonder if we get our downside retests out quickly, because Monday morning at the open, Bitcoin's probably going to push up along with the market, because now we've digested that Jerome Powell is not going to kill us right now. And I think we get a little help Monday and then resume sideways and down starting Tuesday. But this is all speculation until we get an open tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say that this week is a little different than most guys, because Bitcoin is very close to last week's VWAP, and so it doesn't really pose a trade for me currently. Although later in the week, for you guys in the VIP, it may go volatile in one direction away from last week's VWAP, and I may take a trade. But someone in the chat asked, "Is this FloppingGroper I'm hearing?" So Mr. Bob in the chat, we're brothers, so we sound very similar. But I'm FloppingGroper, and we got mine and CF's older brother, Crypto Guy OTI, with me right now. So thanks for joining us, and excuse us sounding the exact same. But
I mean, I could speak in an accent or something, so you know that I'm someone else.
Yeah, I could use a gay voice if you guys want me to. But...
This is my gay brother. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But go back to dominance real quick. Go back to that dominance chart.
I like to be dominated sometimes. All right, let's see. We got.
Well,
all right, I got it.
I can't remember what chart it was on, but you just had it on a chart where the DBSI was like sloped up, like was it the big time frame? No, it was Bitcoin dominance.
Okay. Oh, here's the 4 hour, or do you want the daily?
Go to like the daily.
Oh, right here.
What about, no, that's sloped down. What about macro? Like, was it the weekly?
Might be.
Yeah. So look on the weekly. So Bitcoin dominance is not bearish to me right now. If you look at Market Cipher B, you have a complete momentum desert to the downside. So any wave, the first wave that we get below the zero line is just going to be a super bullish trigger wave. So there's like a massive long cooking here on this Bitcoin dominance chart. And it's backed up by the fact that look at that DBSI's upsloped green nature there. That's a fresh uptrend. So Bitcoin dominance has only gotten started. So yeah, it's having a nice pullback, but
you got uncleared yellow X's going back to like 64.5% that generally need to be resolved too. So I'm just waiting for a huge snapback on Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, that would be nice if Bitcoin, whether it's alts crashing and Bitcoin crashes less and just keeps doing nothing, or if it's like Bitcoin catches up like Heinz and then alts do nothing. But
I'm looking for hints across the board, like ETH BTC. If you see sudden weakness, like does this look bullish to you? Sol BTC, we're getting a little bit of life here, but I don't know. I feel like he gets smashed.
It hasn't. It hasn't really grown into a mature daily uptrend. You see on Sol Bitcoin there, it has been doing great, but just a little more time and sideways would do this thing good, because that daily DBSI is it's coming out of a rough downtrend. So the first pop up is usually a failure. So
I think you get checked right here at like 2. Like, let me put this line.
Yeah, and we could be wrong.
Something
it
like
could, the new data could come in. This could keep chopping up, and then it'll settle down, and you're in your you're in your DBSI uptrend from there. So the DBSI did flip green, but it's just like a newborn uptrend. It's not legit yet. So something I'm looking at on Solana. Although it does the Sol pairing for ETH as well was looking pretty good, but it's still in a strong. I mean, look at this. That's such a huge downtrend that time is on your side when it comes to believing in alts. You don't need to rush into it or feel like you're missing the boat or anything.
I mean, the money flow looks promising. Like we're coming out of the gulag here, but I don't know if that's
take
really
a look at let's take a look at USDT because Gio was mentioning USDT dominance
Yep.
in particular. So USDT dominance, this is the amount of tether, the amount of crypto that's tethered up, basically. This is people that don't they don't want their money to go up or down. They're holding their crypto off to the side in tether because maybe they're bearish or maybe they're protecting themselves from something. But there are signs of this coming back, although it's early. But you can see that it's pumping up out of that white monthly VWAP and coming down and getting a support confirmation of this region before potentially continuing up there. So that is another potential sign to look out for in tandem with Bitcoin dominance coming back. That I definitely agree with the Trader Geo guys on this. And it's been a while since I looked at these macro timeframes, but even on the monthly, Bitcoin dominance has been look at this bullish divergence that it did have earlier in the year. And this was something that I was paying attention to along with Trader Geo. Then we come down and we're testing down in here. So, that idea that USDT dominance was going to just come up to the all-time highs earlier in the year, me and Geo were not correct on that. But also it hasn't created a new low yet. So, we'll see, man. Can USDT flip its macro from this more bearish posture to a more bullish one? If it can, that is
you're starting to get some bull divs. Like the 2-day and the 3-day. I mean, the money flow's not really there, but you are getting uneven butt cheeks. Let's see. You got the 2-day up. Somebody said a green dot on the weekly. I don't know. I'd rather look at the 2-day and 3-day first. Let me get confirmation on those time frames.
Yeah, I do see a trigger wave potential on the weekly there. Nothing really on the 2-week, just money flow pouring out.
I'm looking at the 2-day and 3-day. If you're trying to get scared thinking dominance is going to go up for Tether.
Yeah, there's kind of just this short-term uptrend that got pierced there. So, I don't really know what to say about it other than, it's got some bullish signs that could be emerging. It's something to watch, but also, this money flow could keep bleeding out too. But we'll just have to keep an eye on that USDT dominance. But what other altcoins can we talk about, man? So we established that Solana and XRP, the non-ETH coins, they kind of had this pop recently.
Yeah, Aave was outperforming Ethereum for a while. It had a hell of a weekend here. What's going on the last few days? I caught it from 301 to 380, which I was telling you earlier, but somebody in chat 2 weeks ago mentioned Aave, and I was like, what is that? And I looked at it and went, oh, damn, I can catch something on here. But
well, I could be wrong, but oh, sorry, go on. What were you saying?
Oh, I was talking about Aave. Are you looking at Litecoin? We can do that.
Let's pull up Aave so that we're on the same page here.
Okay.
I just should have done more homework. I was busy editing that video and handling some things today. So I'm catching up on these
big
charts.
stab upward. That was me celebrating alone in my apartment. I caught that thing. I was sitting here. I was like, oh fuck! I had to close Red Dead 2 real quick and just catch the rest of this move. It was great. So
Damn.
now the weekly retest for that is that could be a juicy short. I'm trying to get down to 330, 327, something like that would be nice.
Yeah, also just waiting for that move to play out could give you a nice long on Aave, because look at the strength of that. This 5-day uptrend is really nice. The first interaction you get on that rising 5-day MA is probably going to be a positive one. So that being said, though, you probably are going to get that bearish weekly leap down and then potentially a last gasp of air or a big one, but a last gasp of air for sure, a scalp off of this weekly leapfrog / rising 5MA region. And looking at some of the other coins, like for instance Solana, strong 5-day uptrend with a bearish weekly leap. XRP, sideways 5-day trend with a small bearish weekly leap. Solana, did we just go over Solana? I can't even remember. Sui,
Yeah.
another. So look, just careful of these coins that have been pulled into 5-day uptrends already. They could be bullish, and like let's say that you want to short back to the previous week to date here on Sui. If you're looking to short this week, what is the best price for you to get a short in? It's actually up here at the highs. So if you want to short back down to last week's VWAP, I would say wait basically all week to see if bulls can like take this up here like this, and this right here would be an amazing short down to that weekly VWAP back down there. So just thinking about getting like the best prices possible if you are bearish, you got to recognize that some of these levels up here on some of these altcoins, you might just want to be patient. If you miss the move, oh well, and it just keeps going down and just shits itself, oh well. But there's some really potentially good shorts later in the week if you kind of just sit on your hands and do nothing, assuming that this 5-day uptrend does what it's supposed to do, and you get like a little continuation off of it.
Yes. Okay. On the daily chart for Sui, I'm looking for shorts around 410 or so.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
it's way better
yeah.
as long as you're waiting for a high.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, because you might have a little trend line going to the downside there, but I'm still bullish on Sui. It looks strong, but I'm looking for shorts at this point. Not really. I need some more time to see what this is going to do.
There's definitely a case for a lot of these coins to come down and tap this a level that I'm really looking at on a lot of coins, including Bitcoin, is last year's Q3. If things do end up getting worse, you know, you could expect Sui to come back down to this powerful support level, this yellow line here. This could be a bounce level like around 250. And if we go across some of the altcoins we already covered, like Litecoin, you know, that kind of coincides with a lot of strong supports across all these coins, where, you know, you're still bullish on it if it goes down there, but it's like a bigger correction than people see coming.
What's that other thing? Oh, Satoshi's not here. Okay. Are you doing Chainlink at all?
Yeah, someone in the chat, Miss MJ, wants me to look at Link. So let's take a look at Chainlink real quick. Already, you know, just taking a first glance at it, it's already pumped a shit ton. And so I don't really look for a big long on it. I was bullish on it back at the start of Q2. You know what I mean? Like, I'll promote and shill shit when it's lower, but it's hard for me to like tell you to just buy Chainlink, even though it probably will take the highs. But when we look at the weekly leap situation, let's take a peek here. Going down on the smaller time frames, strong 5-day uptrend here. I haven't seen the slope of that black line erode just yet, and historically this has been like the last couple, basically all month, this line has been a strong buy zone. So we're here at that buy zone again. Even though money flow is pouring out, you may get another take of the highs and potentially a big short back down to the previous week to date once the highs are taken later in the week. But I probably wouldn't short this high. I think that if we do go up and break this, I would probably just not trade it at all until I see a break of the all-time high, because that's such a juicy level that you know, shorting before you get to that point, you're kind of exposing yourself and your account to just getting speared from all that money coming in and breaking that all-time high. So this is a time in a chart where I'm cautious and I'm not full moving in trying to catch the last, you know, that move right there. Even though that is a big move, it's a 16% move right there. But You know, you're your own man. You can do whatever you want. But I'm gonna just be watching Link. I'm gonna be hoping that it takes the highs, and I'm gonna hope that there's like a nice obvious short, maybe back down to the previous week to date. What are you thinking, man?
That's fair. If I were to do a short on this, it would be a short-lived one. So the weekly retest is to the downside a couple of bucks, like 24.17-ish is what I have right now. And then the start of September, your monthly retest is a little lower than that. So that would be probably around 23 something. You know, we still have time before that's relevant. But if we were to touch just the previous week number, whenever you put that weekly VWAP on there, right around here, I have this blue line that's 24.13 or so. I would just short it to that. But also, on the daily, you do have a bear div here. I don't really play divs until I get a third wave, so that could be your test to the like a new high or something, and it makes a third wave down here, and then you have a triple bear div to play with. But we're speculating a little far out from here. A similar take to you. I would either not touch it and wait for something with higher conviction to short it, or just take a short just down to something real close by and look for another bounce up. But if you're just holding Link, you got really nothing to worry about. Like, good for you.
To me, it looks a lot like that point earlier in the chart. Like, look at last June. Go to like last June. You don't even need to scroll or anything. Like, just that.
June 24?
Yeah, that move right there is what kind of looks like where we're at now. It's like you have the major pump, and then you just have that bearish retracement, and then you might get a move down. Because, like, look at that VWAP, like that yearly, is that the Trump VWAP? It's like a VWAP from like election day, it looks like. Sloped down, and then it got pulled into a sideways posture from this recent pump, but it's probably going to have to retouch. It's going to have to touch the price again, potentially. But if you're thinking about
comparing,
go on.
Okay, so the money flow story was totally different back here in June of 24 compared to what we're at now. Like, this is clearly stronger this time, but you do have a big bear div. So I'm not really super bullish or super bearish. I need a little more data, but I can see an argument for either way. And if I see a good argument for either way, I don't want to trade it. I need to know for sure.
Well, it's in a big, strong 5-day uptrend. So we went into the scalp timeframes, and you guys saw that Link is riding on top of an upsloped 5-day trend. So
you're right. I don't have the 5-day.
It's not the best environment for shorts unless it's an insanely juicy opportunity. What is the juiciest opportunity for a short on Link? It's got to be the all-time high. So that's the only trade. Oh, not that high. Jeez, that's way up there. Well, shoot, maybe
so the previous high.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is wait for something to get taken first, because man, this thing could really go crazy off that rising 5-day uptrend. So
yeah, I think we get. Hang on, how do I get a damn? Like, this gives you one more wave, but then the price goes like that, and then you got your bear div and get wrecked. Could be like that.
I mean, so usually, yeah, whenever a major level's taken, you have that threat of a swing failure pattern. And if it's the timing is right, or if it's like a new month, which we are coming to the end of this month. So yes. If things go crazy this week to the upside, guys, just remember that going into September, we will then have a lot of bearish monthly leapfrogs to contend with. So, yeah, hopefully.
Okay, fart coin.
Yeah, let's take a look at Fartcoin. But yeah, hopefully whatever move these altcoins are trying to make, they get it done with this week, because you don't really want to be just sitting in your longs as a new period comes and you got like a bearish monthly leap and you're just like sitting in a long, you know? So hopefully it's quick. Hopefully it's quick and dirty and painless. Nice pump to the upside. Everyone calls that it's officially alt season, but then that bearish monthly leap comes and everyone cries because they FOMO'd in at the top and, you know, didn't believe back in April or whatever. But yeah. All right, let's take a look at Fartcoin here. Let me pull it up on my chart.
Yeah, that's all you. I had to take that off my list. It was poison to me. Poison, I tell you.
Well, actually, Fartcoin is at a solid lifetime bouncy kind of region here. So we did come all the way down to this major low here and also this rising lifetime VWAP support. So it does look like this is like the last, basically, this is the last decision that Fartcoin's going to make before it makes a large move to the up or downside, because this interaction is just so important for the chart. So it is kind of an upsloped lifetime VWAP there. So I would think that this thing chops up at least to the previous month to date, if not something like this goes up. I'm actually kind of bullish on Fartcoin here. But what would change my mind is if we suddenly lost the rising lifetime net of VWAPs here. If we fell below this, I kind of go bearish on Fartcoin again. So that level is at around 80 cents. That's kind of a level that Fartcoin needs to hold before it just starts looking kind of scary. And if like altcoins are going to pop up a little bit this week, then I would expect Fartcoin to at least do this, if not this. So again, if you're looking for a short on Fartcoin, you know, you are at some tough resistance right now. You do have a bearish weekly leap right now. But this is kind of a small move for Fart. And look, it's a fresh 5-day uptrend. See this black line here? A fresh 5-day uptrend. To me, my wisdom is telling me to wait till late in the week. And there's probably going to be a big short back down to this previous week to date VWAP and that rising 5-day MA. So I would say let this play out. Let this support get broken, confirm a support, go back to the previous month to date, you know, get a false break out of that, take liquidity again, and then potentially a big nuke going into next month.
You think we're going to get a Rectember?
Well, it depends, man. I mean, I'm not sold on it yet, but that's a good question. But I guess this month, it seems like it's going to end with like a bang, you know? So we might see some crazy moves to the upside because I'm seeing alts like in these 5-day uptrends manifesting, but Bitcoin's not looking so hot. And so I'd say if Bitcoin puked, then like all these charts puke too. But right now, today, this day, right now, it's probably not the time. I would like to wait for that 5-day trend to get pulled back down and, you know, see some better quality short entries at some actual highs form before I start making an actual trade idea on Fartcoin. As of right now, it looks kind of bullish despite a slight, there's a risk of pullback, a small pullback, but even if you had the weekly leap right away, it's still plunging into a rising 5-day MA, so it's not over yet. What are you seeing? Oh, you took it off your list, so you haven't really been looking at it, huh?
Yeah, I'm going out of my way to avoid Fartcoin.
Well, why?
But
is
what
that?
you said is
why is that? Because it's less volatile
why
now.
is that?
Why? Tell me why.
Well, okay, you see that the little up and down there before where we currently are. I was just sitting in a big fart position for too long, and it was losing the strength that it had before, and I'm like, and I broke even and left. Like after sitting in it for a month, I'm like, fuck this fart. Like let it go or hold it in. I'm not gonna wait anymore. But now that I'm gone, I'm sure it'll go to $3. So good for everybody else, but I'm not gonna take that chance. I moved to something that I was more confident in. Something similar with Pepe too is kind of like that, where I was just sitting in that thing for a couple of weeks, and like it's not happening for me. But the way Fart moves, suddenly I get attracted and get sucked in at the wrong time. So I gotta control myself and just not look at stuff like that anymore.
Well, you gotta let it suck you in at a time like this, like at the time where it looks boring and you don't want to look at it and it stinks. You know, that's the time you gotta look at it. It's like, you know, you take a turd, you got to take a look. You got to make sure that it looks good, you know?
Look, if it hits 80 cents, I have an alert that'll tell me, and I go, oh, okay. But if it's just flopping around 90 cents, like I don't get anything from that. So that's just me. Yeah.
Well, you know, we got a side, like I said, guys, this is a really important support. I think that we probably shouldn't fade this tap of support. This is probably major, and I don't want to underestimate it right here. It's just a really strong VWAP tap coming down into the low. Seems like a double bottom right now. And what happened on FART, like all these moves that happened, you can explain them with VWAP logic. Like, you know, the new month came out, and we wanted to go back, obviously, to the previous month, right? But to get there, we had to take some liquidity. And so we came down to this low right here. And we came and we tested as low as there. And that was the liquidity we needed to finally get that move back up. And that was the monthly leapfrog trade, a 43% move back up to last month's VWAP. So that was like a pretty textbook like B or C setup for the leapfrogs. So, you know, when a new month spawns, guys, you want to look, where is last month's VWAP? That's the direction that your swing trade is going to be in. But from this point, you then have to look at the chart. Where are the best entries for a long? And it would, if you're looking at this chart, it would have been down here, right? And so once we get down there, right here, that is, you can see how that follows through. And it comes and pumps up to last month's VWAP with scientific precision. Like, look at that thing. And you can explain the downward move as well, because when you pump up and you hit a declining previous month's VWAP, see the slope of that? Super far down. So you pump up and you hit that. Also at this speed and magnitude, this is a crazy move here. So you're SFPing this high as you slam right into a declining previous monthly VWAP. So that is why Fartcoin chopped back down and came back to the lows, even took the low.
But what happened to me is, you see that first one, that first attempt at the monthly VWAP? Right.
Correct.
Right. The first one?
This one right here.
And then we're on a bit of a delay. So yeah, that one. That one, I was sitting in that, and I entered a little below your red line there. And I watched it go all the way back down, and I got pissed off. And then it retested and actually hit it properly the next time, but I was already gone by then. So that's why I got out of FART. It just pissed me off. It was emotional. But your point is correct. So if you're looking for a long to the previous month, like now is where it's starting to get a little juicy, but I'm waiting for 80 cents before I look at this again.
It's a juicer already. Yup.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that's something to be cautious of is, see this low here? It was never actually taken. And so that low being taken is something that is very, very attractive. I would totally respect anyone who has the decision to just kind of wait for that level to get swept. And then that probably is a giant long. Because you can see how if you longed here, ultimately it didn't work. If you longed here, it didn't work. If you longed here, it may
that's
not work
where I got
too.
wrecked there. I got pissed off. So, but yeah, 80 cents. I'm like, okay, that's higher conviction, and I should have waited for that. I got greedy with my farts.
Why are you being greedy?
All right. Yes. And I don't want to explain to my Jewish tax guy that I lost money on Fartcoin. He'll be very disappointed in me.
Well, that's just a tax write-off, so just keep doing it, man. Just keep giving your money to Fartcoin. It's worth it. It's for the culture.
There's a limit to how much you can write off. Like, you've already hit your cap on the losses with your Fartcoins. I'm like, all right, geez.
Well, so in the future, maybe some VWAP wisdom I could give you, brethren. When you have a big VWAP idea, I'm zooming into like that moment where you tried to Buzz Lightyear out the window and then you started falling. Next thing you know, you're on the ground with your toy arms and legs dislocated, and you're staring at the ceiling with no money left, wondering what the fuck's going on. What's FloppingGroper gonna say to me when I go on his stream on Sunday? So you don't
and every other coin is fine, just that one's fucked up. Yeah, that's what pissed me off.
So to avoid this, what you gotta do is you gotta take profits at 2 to 1 at least. Like, you have to protect, like, if the trade is going great for you, then don't let that trade turn into a loss and then all of a sudden you're a loser again. I would say that, like, if you're a winner, then lock that win in. For instance, if you believed in this monthly leap, the teal line up here, And look, you're seeing the price action. First, it's below the new monthly VWAP. Oh, but then we climb on top. Look at that support tap right there. Oh, but then we get a fake out, and then we get a reclaim, and then a support tap here. So right here, this moment right here, as the 5-day uptrend is scooping up, that's a juicer, you know? So it's like, damn, that's a good ass long scalp. And so you lay down the trade, and you right at the close of that momentum candle there with no bottom wick, and you could put your stop behind the low or this little low here. I probably would have put it right there. And then you target that previous monthly VWAP. Now, do you see how your trade went? This is the trade, right? It went to shit. You see how this trade got stopped out, and anyone who stayed in it got shit on? Well, if you took your profits at 2 to 1, look, it gets you out right at the perfect time, right before the crash. And so this is a little bit of VWAP wisdom, because there's VWAP knowledge, right? VWAP knowledge, the information that I provide you guys is that when a new month spawns, we go back to the previous month. But VWAP wisdom, this is where the wisdom comes in. It's like, you know, knowing your environment, knowing that, you know, you didn't get the juiciest long entry on FART. It could still dump down and still could give you a C setup, which is where you sweep a major low, then go back to last month's VWAP. So if you ever take a setup or a B setup, like one of these minor retracement longs back to a previous period's VWAP, make sure you guys are locking in profits, because that trade is a little bit riskier than a C setup. So like, this wasn't even a C setup over here, but let's just pretend it was. Let's just pretend this dump came and took that low, and it looked a little gnarlier, and we actually took this low. This C setup here is a much safer trade, because you're basically entering the ring with your opponent already tired. And so if you can enter the ring with basically everyone on the opposition side wiped out, that is a much safer and more confident trade. So, you know, you have the wisdom of this is like, you have more conviction in those C setups where like the major level is taken, but you got to have less conviction on these little shitter setups that you take, perhaps right out the gate of a new week or a new month. Make sure you guys are locking in 2 to 1. So hopefully that makes sense.
It sure does. Yeah, take profits a little more aggressively if it's not quite a C setup, but like a C minus setup. You're like, all right, well, this isn't the perfect one. I'll take my money and run a little earlier rather than try to wait for the full thing to play out. Like I said, I got greedy with my farts and got punished for it. I should have stuck to that 2 to 1 rule, and thank you for reiterating that.
Yeah, I would say that 2 to 1. And I'm not saying close the whole trade, but lock in like a solid portion to the point where, like, if the trade all of a sudden goes against you, you're not all of a sudden, you go from being a champion, slayer of the markets, like charting god, to a little shrimp again, because like you didn't have wisdom. You had the knowledge to succeed, but not the patience or the discipline, you know? And so it's crazy, man. Like, you could be the best charting wizard guy in the world, but if you can't act right on the exchange, then like the market will just take the money back. So even with like 100% certainty that at some point in time we will go back up to that teal line, you still get fucked. And so make sure you're practicing good habits on the exchange. But that's pretty much it on Fartcoin, and that's pretty much it for like our whole spiel. So I'm gonna do 2 chart requests, and then we're gonna get into the giveaway there. We're gonna check those giveaway people and do our last 2 recipients of the giveaway.
Does Shitter Cardano count? I think we just do that for free every time.
Yeah, we'll do Shitter Cardano.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
All right, but
Somebody's car alarm will not start going off.
I hate you guys for bringing up Cardano. Charles Hodgepodge with his ants in his pants or ants in his gloves. You know, Cardano's like, it's looking kind of crazy. Like, it's got this upslopeness to the last 2 monthly VWAPs. It looks a lot like Chainlink, you know, where it's there's a lot of highs up here that, like, in the medium term, you would think that if things got crazy, it could target this. It kind of turns you off to being, like, to wanting to short anything majorly. When we go into the smaller time frames, it's just like a lot of other alts. You see this fresh ascending 5MA. This kind of would have to get tugged into a downtrend again for me to like get bearish on ADA again. So even though I talk shit, I'm actually more bullish on ADA than a lot of other shitters. But across altcoins, we're seeing a freshly born 5-day uptrend potentially manifesting. So that's a potentially promising sign to Cardano holders. So far, we're overperforming over the monthly and quarterly VWAPs. So yeah, man, it's looking okay for now. Perhaps some more liquidity at these highs will get taken later in the week. I would love to see that. It does have that bearish weekly leap though. So, you know, look how small it is though. It's like it's not big enough, guys, where you would just consider that. At least me personally, I wouldn't consider this. I would let the week play out and see if maybe there's a short back down to this later. And then we'll look at Tau for MJ, and then we'll do our giveaway here.
I'll be right back. I got to go yell at somebody.
Okay. Anyone who's new to the streams, we do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, which is a little late for you East Coasters, but this is the best time for me because I get to handle all my work and stuff during the day, and then when I'm chilling and relaxing at the end of the day, I can pop on the stream with you guys. It's also 3 hours after the new weekly candle, so by pushing it back a bit, I get a lot of fresh data for you guys. Tau is underneath its VWAP gulag, kind of stuck in this high volume region here. When we look at the 5-day trend, the black line, it does look like it has pulled up a little bit here. So you might have a shot, but yeah, kind of in the same boat as a lot of other alts here on Tau. It's not like in some abnormal 5-day downtrend or anything. It's in a little uptrend now, just like other alts. So that's pretty much it. So let's finish off the giveaway here. Looks like we got a couple notifications. Shout out to any of you guys in the stream who did this tonight. This is awesome.
What was that one?
Yeah. This is a good one, bro. MC basic strategy, weekly leaps. Yeah, my usual strategy. Nope, I'm gonna be looking at Easy Coin. I'm sorry, guys. This thing was hyped up for so long that I had already decided long ago that the moment this thing drops, I'm gonna lose my money. I am giving my money to this fucking coin, and I am 100%.
You had the knowledge, but not the wisdom.
Yeah. I'm like preaching wisdom, and then I just like aped into Yeezy Coin.
By the way, Yeezy Coin, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's one of those where, like, if it works out, you're a genius, but if it doesn't, you're just another flopping groper. You know, sorry about that.
Just like Kanye. That's why I thought the whole thing was poetic. I was like, I'm either a complete retard, genius, racist, Nazi piece of shit, just like Kanye,
or the best artist ever,
or I'm a genius, just like Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, I really just was betting on his reputation more than the coin.
Which is what? It's a mess now.
Well, he had the cultural zeitgeist in the palm of his hand just a few months ago.
He certainly did. I would buy Alex Jones coin. I don't care.
I'm cool with the hate. I like getting roasted, but I also defend my actions. Like, I would do it again if I could.
If he has a Yeezy 2.0, you're like, well, this time will be different, fellas. Yeah, just try it.
Antimea said I did a very Jewish thing. Yeah, he did it. Yeah, you're right. That is very hypocritical of Kanye.
Yes.
Look at him. These AI memes are perfect, man. All right, so that's what we got. Okay, I really like this one, man. This is I like this, bro. I say, who is this guy? I'm gonna follow him back. And CSL SVG, are you in the chat, man? I'm gonna like his thing, and I'll message him later, tell him that he won the second contest, and then this one's all right. You know, this one's all right. Let me go back to the MC Discord, because maybe that'll be more fair if one of these guys got it. Let's see. I really like these groper fish. Brad did these groper fish sushi. This is really fun.
Yeah, I like the sushi one.
This
That was
is
cool.
awesome. I see Salah in the chat. So Salah, grats, man. I'm gonna give you my indicator for life, and I'm gonna give you my Discord for life, man. Eee. Feels a little weird because I did 1 year for my last giveaway, but I'm a man of my word. I was in an emotional state after that meme coin debacle. I shouldn't have done 3 lifetime giveaways, but that's what I'm doing today. So, grats Salah on the lifetime. I hope you take advantage of it and you get good value out of the leapfrog. And man, let's see. That's a good one. Might just give another lifetime to Curtis, dude. Look at this shit. Look at the effort he puts into this, man. This is crazy. I think I'm gonna give it to Brad. So the thing is that Brad is in my group already, but I think I'm gonna upgrade his membership to lifetime because this is some high quality. Look at this shit, man. I should like post this on Instagram. This is my new Twitter banner. This thing's awesome.
Yeah, how do you even prompt AI to make that?
I mean, it's easy. It's just like FloppingGroper, Magikarp fish getting sliced by Kanye sushi chef in the art style of photogenic double helix 3D cinematographic. You get the idea. But Brad, you win, bro. So I don't know if he's tuned in, but I'm going to upgrade this guy who's already in my VIP. I'm going to upgrade him to lifetime, so he's got my Discord wisdom for life. And that's pretty much it. We killed it again, man. Any closing words for our students and fans? And
just keep an eye on NVIDIA earnings because that will set the tone for us. That happens Wednesday. And then the GDP numbers on Thursday. The peace deal between Ukraine and Russia is kind of on pause. Shocker. That would have been nice, but you know it's still coming. But otherwise, it's business as usual this week. TA should work better for you this time rather than a shadow of Jerome Powell. We don't have that this time, so you'll be better off.
All right, perfect. Thank you, brethren. Thanks for joining me once again. Let's make this a regular thing, man. We've been doing good, and I think the regulars like it. So
count me in. I'll be here.
All right. You guys have a wonderful Sunday night. I wish you luck in this next week of trading. Play it safe. Be patient. And you guys got this. Getting better every day, 1% every day. All right, you guys peace out. Thank you.